Okay, and now that we have all of that out of the way, let us move on to the business at hand. My turn to remember Jeff, but I can't find my postcards from Olean. They're here somewhere. Say, Dave, now that you finished the Cerebus archive, want to come to my house and help organize the archive? And you've got 3 ellipses here. I was thinking if you just plug in the sound of the teacher on the Peanuts cartoons in that space, because then you go on to say, geez, children might be listening to this. There's no call for that much profanity. You're on your own with the archive there, Matthew.
Well, it's one of these, oh, they're here. And I looked, no, not there. And then I'm like, okay, they're here. And then, no, they're not there. I'm like, I know I didn't get rid of them. They gotta be here someplace.
Isn't that's the most annoying thing when you go, and you're picturing them and you're going, oh, it's got to be here. It's because you're picturing a kind of location and you're going, well, this is where they would be because this is where I picture them being. And then you go and look and they're not there. And it's, you just drive yourself crazy. You're describing the last 3 weeks of my life. This archive. Okay, your memory of Jeff Seiler.
Well, I was gonna do the postcards because I'll scan these, send them to Dave or through Raleigh. It'll be great. And it's like, yeah, no, they just aren't here. So the other memory, because I'm going, well, what am I gonna think about? I gotta have a memory of Jeff, and I got a number of memories. But this is one of them memories where you go, Jeff doesn't look the best in this one, but it is something that did happen, and it is something I remember. So he used to do a column on A Moment of Service before I ever got involved, which was, I believe it was titled Me and Dave Sim, and it was his letters to you and your letters back.
Oh, right, I forgot that.
And it was, I don't know if Tim got these from one of the Kickstarter, but he would always put, the letters would also include head sketches you had done. And there were a number of them, so I don't know if Tim was just collecting head sketches, that he found on the internet or what. But at one point, Tim got miffed, because he is British, and I think it was a very, very English, I'm offended on your behalf thing, because before he became the photorealist tryout winner, Carson, and did Strange Death of Alex Raymond, Carson was doing reviews of each phone book and putting them online and he's an art teacher. He's as a professor, he's looking at these books as works of art, literally and artistically, and examining them, and it's college level analysis. And
right
around the time he had gotten selected to do Strange Death of Alex Raymond, one of his reviews came out because he wasn't done doing them yet, and whatever phone book it was, he had kind of sort of implied that Gerhard wasn't that great. And Jeff got really annoyed because he would turn into full Jeff of, how dare you say something bad about Gerhard? How dare you say something bad about Dave? How dare you say something bad about... Jeff's sort of stereotypical for Jeff, Cerebus uber alles, Dave Sim uber alles, Gerhard uber alles. The 3 greatest things in the universe are Cerebus, Dave Sim, and Gerhard. How dare you think otherwise? And so in the comments, because Carson had just been announced as, quote, the new Gerhard, and it's like, well, no, that's not the relationship at all. This is he's doing a specific job based on this. It's getting the Strange Death done, Jeff. It's not, he's not going to be the new background artist. He's going to be the artist. That's how this is going to work. But because in Jeff's mind, Carson was slagging on Gerhard. The comments on the various posts got kind of nasty, and Tim had enough and basically said, "That's it. Your column's done. You're never ever. I'm not posting this anymore." And at the time, it was one of those like, seems a bit of an overreaction, but at the same time, we'd all, kind of said, "Hey, Jeff, you're sort of being a complete dick about this." Carson wrote this months ago before he got the job. This isn't him slagging on Gerhard because he's, quote, the new Gerhard. This is him saying, as an art professor, I'm not seeing the quality of Gerhard that, and I forget which phone book it was, but it was probably one of the ones where, one of the later books where the background, there was probably a sequence where there weren't a lot of backgrounds, or the backgrounds were very minimal,
I know that there was a situation where Carson said that he could tell in the Africa sequence which animals I drew and which Gerhard drew, and that my animals were better than Gerhard's.
And that might have been the comment that set Jeff off.
I think that might have been it, yes. Which was one of those, that's a subjective kind of thing. It's like, my animals are my animals, Gerhard's animals are Gerhard's animals, my backgrounds are my backgrounds. It's two different qualities, and Carson's going to have a preference in that. And I think preferences are preferences. It's all pretty subjective. But I agree with you that it was Gerhard mating, or Jeff trying to make sure that everybody who's important to him gets defended here, and that didn't include Carson.
Well, and that's so when I took over, Jeff very much had the attitude of hail, strike up the marching band, I'm a coming home. And it's like, well, Jeff, you got your column canceled by the previous editor. I'm the interim editor. He's the editor emeritus. If his dictate was, okay, don't run any more from Jeff, well, I, as your friend, would say, oh, well, don't worry about that. I, as the caretaker of a moment of service, which everybody that's listening, quit laughing, okay? Yeah, I am taking care of it. I may not be doing the best job, but come on. It's been 6 years, guys. At a certain point, I mean,
yeah.
You can only post the same picture of an aardvark weighing before everybody goes, okay, Matt, knock it off.
Right.
But anyway, so, Jeff, multiple comments of, hey, I got a, 2-foot stack of letters, and it's like, okay, Jeff, I was still trying to get my bearings on what do I have to do every day to get this done, and Jeff's going, okay, I'm back, right? And I said, no, Jeff, just calm down. I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying yes. I'm saying give me a minute to catch my breath. And
right.
And after a little while, I think that either Jeff started getting sick and wasn't able, to be around as much, or it was just Jeff realized that, the biggest problem that a lot of people had with Jeff's letters is they were very inside baseball. In some cases, literally inside baseball, where he's talking about baseball and you're answering, and you can tell from your answers that you don't really pay attention to the baseball anymore. You understand that Jeff loves baseball, but it's not like, it's not, again, Dave Sim uber alles, Cerebus uber alles, Gerhard uber alles, baseball uber alles. Jeff, your hierarchy of needs is not the same as everyone else's.
Right.
So.
Right. And they were very long letters, too. Like, that was, I think, part of what he was wanting to show off was, I sent a 10-page letter to Dave Sim, and I got a 10-page letter back, because a lot of that was happening post-Cerebus. Once I answered all the mail and published that as Collected Letters 2004, it's, writing, answering a 10-page letter with a 10-page letter is no big whoop for me. It's really, all that I'm doing apart from putting the Cerebus archive together. But boy, you would have to be really, really keen to read Jeff's 10-page letter and my 10-page answer as entertainment, as oh hey, this is my second favorite thing after Margaret's notebooks kind of thing.
Well, and the other problem with Jeff's column was invariably it was, I don't have a copy of my original anymore, but I'm pretty sure I was talking about. It's like, Jeff, we're getting Dave's response. If we can infer what you're talking about from that, that's enough. But if you don't have your letter and Dave's response is very, not responding, maybe we can leave this one out of the stack, huh?
Right.
So yeah, that's my memory of Jeff is very much. I'm trying to think of a good analogy from the series. It's very much the beginning of the Palnu trilogy, where I take over and Jeff thinks it's going to be all ticker tape parades, and it's like, no, Jeff, not quite. It's going to be a lot of hard work and a lot of going, oh God, why did I say yes to this?
Exactly.